Any guesses what's in the box? If you said birdhouse, you're only 20% correct. That's all that's left of my very first woodworking project. A birdhouse for a Boy Scout badge. Home center pine and nails from 30 years ago. Now my dad is an incredible maker, but his avenue is classic cars and not wood. Although he certainly had a hand in helping me build this, I have some evidence that supports that he gave me more leeway to build than most. Here is the lineup of Pinewood Derby cars, for example. Note the aerodynamic shape of all the other kids' cars, definitely not created by 6-year-olds. And then there's mine. It was the slowest, but the Lego laser blasters I thought could neutralize the other cars anyway. I want to keep as much of this old birdhouse roof as I can, so I'm going to give it a few coats of poly to seal it up, lichen and all. This worked in the end, but if you have a better idea on how to do this properly, let me know in the comments. The rest of the birdhouse I'm going to rebuild with a fair bit of irony. The wood I'll use is the same tree that the birdhouse hung in for 30 years, so kind of full circle rebirth thing going on here. Once I've got some stock to the right thickness, I'll need to get the roof together before figuring out the other dimensions. This part was obviously the hardest to put together because of the rotted and undulating nature of these pieces. But on top of that, I want to use nails to keep the theme of the original project. Now I understand how nails work and that driving them in pushes apart the fibers and there's compression or whatever holding the wood to the nail. But I'm so worried about this wood splitting that I'm going to pre-drill with a much smaller diameter than the shank of the nail so it still has some holding power, but give me a little assurance. That gives me the outside dimensions that I need for the walnut pieces. Hot tip, I never really buy stir sticks, just save offcuts when they work out to be perfect. Since the roof is rotten, wavy, and uneven, I'm going to trace that pitch on both the front and back pieces and cut those on the bandsaw. Then the operation that gives a birdhouse its birdhousedness is the entry hole. Another hot tip, make sure your spoil board is firmly planted to the drill press base. Last tip, if you have any shred of doubt about your dimensions, stop and revisit the mock-up. Thankfully, I heeded that advice.
Heated of.
I'll sand my parts before assembly and put a chamfer on the doorway to protect those dirty little birdie feet. The walnut parts get assembled the same way as the roof with some glue, an undersized pilot hole, and nails. Any inconsistencies and sharp edges get knocked down and I'll make a little front porch to glue on below the doorway. Before finish, I'll personalize it to Mom, which they always love, and hit the inside first before giving the outside 2 coats of polyurethane. The old roof, 30 years her senior, gets married to his young trophy wife with E6000 and nails. I wanted to use the original hanging hooks, so I straightened them out and cleaned them up. I definitely don't trust the fine threads biting into the rotten wood, so I drilled oversized holes and secured them with 5-minute epoxy. There it is, ready to ship to Mom, a unique, nostalgic project that I hope hangs in a maple tree for the next 30 years so I can splice some contrasting wood for the next Frankenstein repair. Thanks for watching.